Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Chazin-the-Dream. I'm Ethan Chazin, your host, and I'm excited to introduce on our program today Jonathan Rosen. Jonathan, welcome.
Happy to be here. Thank you, Ethan. Thanks for
Thanks,
having me.
John. Thank you, Jonathan. Jonathan is the Chief Relationship Officer at Collaborix, which is a heart-centered peer advisory professional development community. Jonathan founded the organization to further his mission, which is to create the most meaningful, impactful, personal relationships between business professionals because he believes that authentic and lasting relationships are the essential foundation of individual and business growth. And I'm going to pose the question that Jonathan poses, which is who knew that a corporate attorney with an MBA in finance would create an organization whose primary objective is to create communities of support and show people that we care. So, Jonathan, again, welcome to Chasing the Dream.
Well, it's great to be here, and it's great to talk about, I guess, I don't know if it's my life's work, but it's at least my last decade's work. As you grow, you come to realize what's really important. And I've come to realize that over the course of my career, as a lawyer, business owner, things like that, it's the relationships that matter. And
And, you know, it's so funny that you just literally go right to the heart and the soul of what I wanted to talk about today, which is how does somebody who's academically trained in the law and in business, how did you kind of come to this? Was it a gradual? Was there that come to Jesus moment with that kind of epiphany? How did you get here with this value of relationships?
Yeah, I think I was always like this. I think I was that kid that you knew on the playground in fourth grade where we would go out for recess and I wouldn't go in a panic, but I'd go, come on, let's stop messing around. We only have 45 minutes of recess. Let's choose up teams. Let's play kickball. So I was the kid that like try to get everyone together and organize and I was always um felt comfortable or loved the collaboration and the group activity. I didn't want anyone to be left out. Come on, everyone that wants to play, we're going to choose everyone. I was on like I guess sports teams in high school and student activity clubs in college and as you get older, I guess study groups and then like neighborhood associations when I bought my house. And so it was always this ideal, this thought of don't go it alone and let everyone get together to support you. And the one thing that kind of is the glue is the relationships between people. In fact, I kind of think that when I was in my MBA program, things like that, this is something they should teach alongside like accounting, marketing, operations, sales, things like that, because this is more of a key to success than those other things. And it helps people become, actually better leaders, better salespeople, better coworkers, better networkers, better collaborators, better at everything. So it's just very fundamental.
Yeah, and that's actually something that you touch upon that I noticed as well. So when I was getting my MBA, they certainly you had to do everything in teams, right? All of the work that you did was group-based projects. But yet, to your point, now that I think about it, there was never any kind of structure around how do you collaborate. There wasn't any kind of training, there wasn't any courses on it, to your point. And I would certainly, my wife's an attorney, and watching people go through law school, that also wasn't something that's encouraged. So how did we get here? How do you think we've gotten here to 2024 where are people just starved for relationships post pandemic? Like, what do you think it is that other people are starting to find this value of that meaningful relationships matter?
I think the pandemic has a lot to do with it, and that people tend to feel isolated where there's more hybrid work environments and people are working from home. So they want to feel that personal connection. Um, but the problem that's been out there is a lot of groups that say they do this. Oh, we all our meetings are on Zoom. They conduct their meetings in a way that don't have to do with relationship building. In
Yeah.
other words, they conduct the same meetings that they used to have when they met, in a conference room or a diner or whatever venue they had. And they just transferred that model to Zoom instead of saying, okay, we have this, we're meeting remotely now, and we have to adjust our model to the technology that we have and do things differently to make this more personal and more impactful than when we met in conference rooms. In fact, I think about the groups that we run now. I think we'd get kicked out of most conference rooms for the stuff that we do.
But can you kind of share, because I know it. I mean, I've attended collaborative meetings. You and I've talked a lot about your mindset and your approach, but can you kind of share what it is that distinguishes the collaborative experience from, let's say, something that's just a true hardcore networking event?
So we first of all we focus on relationships, but we kind of I would say we put our money where our mouth is. There are a lot of organizations that talk a good game and say, "Oh yes, that matters." But what they're measuring and what they measure is, quantity of cold leads.
Right.
Also, they spend their time in the meeting not relationship building. We spend every second of our time trying to accelerate the relationship building process between our members. So we we kind of joke that you'll have a guest that comes to a group. Our meetings are 90 minutes twice a month. They come to the group and they think, what is this? Let me kind of test this out. They're a little uncomfortable. They don't know anyone. Everyone's a stranger. And at the end I actually ask the question sometimes if they're a bunch of guests. I say, okay, I want you to think about how you feel right now about all the other people here. You don't know them. You've just met them for the first time. They're in a Zoom box. You really don't know much. And then think about how you're going to feel, how you feel about them at the end of the meeting. And at the end of the meeting, it's like they feel like they went to kindergarten together. It's that relationship, that acceleration of that process, which has kind of a magical effect. It literally flips people's brains. So as I get to know you, Ethan, I think, huh, see, he's a good guy. Now I know him. It flips people's brains to want to help each other. And the help that they give is whatever help you need. It's not limited to just referrals. It's it's client referrals, it's accountability, it's advice, it's being part of a focus group, it's helping people with goal setting, or it's whatever you might. It's strategic partnerships. So I remember once I was speaking to a gentleman who had moved. He was an accountant. He'd worked for a big accounting firm in Boston. He moved down to New York because his parents were, their health was failing and he needed to help out. He came to New York. I met him. He said, I don't have any connections in New York. I want the same connections that I had in Boston, the same type of group that I had in Boston. I said, well, what's that? Describe it to me. He says, oh, it's people I went to college with. There were five of us, and we all were friends. We helped each other. We went to each other's barbecues. We talked about our kids, and we helped each other. And we were strategic partners. We gave advice. We gave referrals. I said, would you ever stop being friends with them if one of them didn't give you a referral? He looked at me like I'm crazy. He says, of
Mm-hmm.
course not. We're friends. We support each other. We get lots of value from each other, not just that. And that's what traditional networking groups do. They focus on one thing, the top line, the revenue part of your business. And by focusing on that, what happens is you end up with a quantity of referrals that do not convert to closed business. It's better to get less referrals that are layups that are going to convert. And you only do that through the relationships that we built.
How do you counter maybe the misguided notion of, yeah, but I'm going into a group ostensibly to build a connection that is going to generate some kind of a return, whether it's a client referral or an introduction to somebody who'll make. How do you kind of counter that? And I guess the deeper question is, where did this come from? I know we talked about playing kickball during recess, but kind of as you evolved also in your career, where this need that you have to connect people came from.
Um, we do a lot of things that people have said when they first meet us. Oh, that's nice. And
Mhm.
they say, but I don't buy nice. And we say, we don't do it because it happens to be nice, but we don't do it because it's nice. What we do is a means to an end because it's a better methodology for growing your business. Every business requires lots of things besides just quantity of cold leads in order to really operate more productively and to really increase not the top line, but your bottom line. And those are a lot of professional growth skills and personal growth skills, of course, relationship building skills, business development skills, and goal setting and accountability. So we use those topic areas to, as part of our agendas, to create kind of intimate personal conversations during the meeting between our members while we discuss things that are important to the success of their business. And that's kind of our methodology. We show a lot of educational videos, TED Talks, things like that. We ask a lot of questions where people have to kind of show up authentically.
Mhm.
And we have rules, no elevator pitches. We
Right,
tell each other what we do,
right.
but aren't taking the time. It's not a good use of our time to go around the room and repeat your elevator pitch, your features and benefits. We're
One of the things that I've really always admired when I've come to the meetings is how diligent you are about asking your guests to be very transparent. There's an honesty in your conversations around what's working, what has worked, what isn't working. Let's discuss why. Let's benefit from each other to share insights. And it's there's that meaningful caring contribution that I think you're saying you don't get from a lot of other networking groups. It's all about deal flow. It feels a lot like a
right.
transaction.
Right. So it's interesting. The people that come to our groups that have a transactional mindset, meaning they're going there, they're thinking, oh, this might be a better networking group. I might get more quality leads than I did at my last one. And they have that mentality of let me just tell everyone what I do, and maybe they'll find someone that needs what I do, and maybe they'll hire me and I'll get a client. People that have that mindset almost never ever achieve their transactional goals. The people that come with a relational mindset and say, I'm really going to get to know these people, they're going to get to know me. Through that, they're going to make more of an effort to solve the problems that I need solved, whether they're referrals or any other, advice or strategic partnerships. Through that, I'm really going to engage with my group. I'm going to go to the other groups. I'm going to engage with the entire Collaborex community. I'm going to do that. Those people always achieve their transactional goals.
Hmm.
From it's counterintuitive,
I
but
was
that
That's
always
exactly what I
works.
was thinking was if you look at it, if you're the kind of person who looks at a relationship as just an opportunity to take, that sounds counterintuitive.
I know. I had a conversation with a member on Friday who recently has not showed up at her group. So I contacted her to find out whether she's okay. Everything's, I know she has some young kids and things like that and very busy. And I
Right.
said, "What's going on? Are you all right?" She says, "It's Kevin's fault. Kevin's another member." I go, "What do you mean?" I go, "He's given me so much work. We're strategic partners. So he brings me in on everything that he does." and I'm just overwhelmed.
Champagne problems.
I said, okay, okay, I'll straighten that out with Kevin. No, 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 please don't. Yeah,
But reaping the rewards of a relationship well cultivated.
right. So it's the people that have that mentality. They really um, benefit from the things that we do. I would say that when people come to our meetings, first of all, as I said, we spend every moment of every meeting trying to accelerate that relationship building process. But they generally get three things from a meeting. Like we'll show let's say we show a TED talk on a particular topic. So I'll give you an example. We've shown a TED talk on resilience. And it's a very emotional TED talk, really having to do with personal resilience, but it applies to business. So people will see that and say, that was really interesting. That helped me personally. Those are strategies I can use when things happen in my life that are less than ideal. And I'm going to forward that TED talk to my loved ones and my kids or whatever. Pure, no return on investment, pure kind of joy of learning, personal growth. Second thing they get is they say, that same TED talk, yeah, there are three strategies or that resilient people use, and I'm gonna employ those strategies the next time I lose a client, the economy goes down, whatever challenges I have in my business. And those are, really straightforward things you could do. And the third thing, and those are things that will produce a return on investment. It will affect their bottom line if they employ those things. And the third thing they get is, that was an emotional TED talk. I mean, from the conversations that we had with each other, it's really helped me build relationships in the meeting. It's not like you have to do it, you have to like go outside the meeting and do 10 one-on-ones. In the meeting, it's helped me build relationships so that I have other people that are there to support me and I want to support them, and they'll give me whatever help I need, whether it is referrals or whether it is advice or strategic partnerships.
So, not that you need it, but when I've had to validate that this is all going on in Collaborex, and this is because of your thought leadership, is when I've had one-on-ones with people that I've met through the Collaborex meetings, and we've kind of scheduled time to do this face to screen, which unfortunately is the world we're still living in because I love face to face. But you meet these people, and people tend to, Jonathan, in your group, say things along the lines of, "What can I do for you? What are you challenged with? What are some things that you're struggling with? Oh, yeah, I've experienced that too. This is what works for me. What do you find works?" That's not, can you tell me what your ideal center of influence is?
So, the people that come to our groups, and it's interesting that you say that because I had a conversation earlier today with someone about being vulnerable. And she said, and I was speaking about something personal with me, and she said, "No, you have to be vulnerable to your members. Don't worry about how they think about it. You're setting the example for the behavior you want them to have because you know by them showing up authentically and vulnerably and as their real self, not as what they do, that this is going to bring them value, will create the relationships that will pay back multiple times." But people always say, so what are the demographics of the people that come to your group? And I struggled with it for a long time. And I realized it's not a demographic, it's a psychographic.
Yes. What do you mean by that? I
So
think I know what you mean, but what do you mean by that?
so we have and what we do is we don't make any assumptions. So we have asked our members over and over and over again to describe their fellow members. And then we've kind of accumulated all their descriptions. And it's come down to this, actually in this order, probably. So they say they're people that are nice. They say they're smart. They say they're collaborative. And they say they're people who feel good by making others feel good. And that it's like a you know it when you see it kind of thing.
And the people that when you see it and feel it, one would think you would want to be in it. You would want to be around that. And I
So
think, and are you saying that those adjectives, those behaviors tend to build strong community?
it really does. And it's very kind of self-fulfilling in that I thought when I started this that I would have a problem with people coming to the group that did not fit that personality type and just wanting to join because they think it's a better networking group and then throw off the dynamic of these givers, these other people, because they would be taking up time for their own self-interest. But what I found is people would come to the group, and if they didn't really feel comfortable with the other personality types in the group, they thought we were too wimpy, too caring, too this. They didn't see the monetary value in building these relationships. They
So
wouldn't come back.
almost,
They would
um,
feel uncomfortable and wouldn't join.
yeah, I was just going to say, and I
Yeah.
apologize for interrupting, but it sounds like once you create that kind of an environment, that culture, people can sense it. And if they buy into it, they buy into it. But if they don't, they self-select. They kind of go somewhere else. I'm going to try a different way to get back to kind of the formative Jonathan Rosen, like how this evolved throughout your career. Like, how did we get here? We've been talking a lot about Collaborex, which is kind of this manifestation, but how do we get to this point where you said this really is a logical progression of all of my kind of prior experience?
Right. So I went through education. I practiced law. I ran a couple of businesses, uh, high-end commercial furniture business where we were importers and manufacturers and distributors, and it was, a big messy business. I did that. I did another furniture importing business. I did a few corporate turnarounds over the course of I would say 8 years. People would have me come in and kind of fix up their operations. I did a bunch of that. And then I found myself, oh, this had to be 10 plus years ago. I was recruited to be a Vistage chair. Vistage is a CEO peer advisory organization. I tried my hand at that for about 6 months, and it was it was it was an experience. It exposed me to the value of peer advisory, but
Mhm.
it wasn't an organization that I felt that I completely resonated with. And I said, okay, what's my next chapter? And I really thought about it, and it came up with this kind of combination of kind of peer advisory plus some characteristics or the good characteristics of business networking groups and what the goals are and kind of combine them. And then, one of my maybe my best business trait is I'm really stubborn. And so I was like, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to make it work because I know I deep in my heart, this is what resonates with me, and this matches my own personal mission statement, which is exactly the same as my business mission statement. And I'm going to do it. And I must say, for the first 2 years, I probably said to myself 100 times, what were you thinking? This is the dumbest idea in the world.
Says
And
almost every person who starts something fundamentally different.
right. And then it starts to take hold. And so now we have 10 groups, and we're looking to expand, but our goal is to expand with the right people.
Right.
Those nice, smart, collaborative people who feel good by making others feel good, and not, this is not for everyone at all.
Right. Right. That's kind of what we've been talking about is there still is this traditional perception of what a business group is, a networking group. And this isn't networking, by the way, anyway. This is relationship cultivation. Networking is just kind of molecule wars bumping off each
It's
other.
the side effect. It's a
Yeah.
positive side effect.
Yeah,
Yes.
doing business together is the outcome of building the trust and caring and yeah, and that's yeah, I said it to you a few times. Like from the first time I came to a Collaborex meeting, there was just this kind of, oh, you're home. It's people who, and Jonathan's driving this thing that feels a lot like, I mean, I spent 10 years researching anywhere that there was compassion in organizations. So that's what it felt like as I said, when you go to a collaborates meeting, people are like, what do you want to get out of this? There's an authenticity there. And obviously, I mean, people listening to you know it comes from you. So I guess my question is, where do you see, obviously growing the right way, but where do you see collaborates going this year and beyond, just as you organically think about the future?
Yeah, we'd like to grow our groups a little. We like to keep our groups also small
Right.
because we feel that the optimum amount of people at a meeting is probably just 12 people. Because if you have 90 minutes, no one's talking at each other. And we want everyone, it's a conversation between each other. So we want everyone to feel they have a voice and the opportunity to express themselves during the meeting. So we do a lot of breakouts and then come back and share what we learned and then do another set of breakouts all with new people and group, we bring everyone together. But with 12 people, you can kind of everyone gets a chance to express their opinions. And so we're keeping the group small. We're looking for we're probably, we're just trying to get the word out. There's tons of people out there. There are thousands of people that believe what we believe and that want to be part of a community that will help and support them and be their competitive advantage and be their sales funnel and their strategic partners and things like that. Be the people that they went to college with, you know.
Right. Right. And, it's interesting because I don't know if I've ever heard you use the language, but this is what it resonates with me is you talk about we don't want to appeal to everybody, right? We want those people who share, smart, compassionate, collaborative.
Mhm.
We want those people who fit the ideal Jonathan member. You're not appealing to everybody. In fact, it's just your fellow alumni, your fellow students. It's your tribe. It's Seth Godin's tribe. It's just a few people that build something where we all share the values together. And I guess that's what's so appealing. People, I think, are starved for a little bit more intimacy and relationship. People are exhausted. Those of us who wake up every day and have to create our own business, it's exhausting.
Right.
And it just really would be nice if there were more people who kind of understood what we go through. Oh, wait, you've created a platform where you bring them together already. That's convenient.
Right. And we don't want the most members. We want to provide the most value to our members. And we
Wait,
just want to
I'm
be,
sorry. Say that again. Say
we
that
don't
again.
want the most members. We just want
Yeah.
to provide the most value to our members. And from that, we'd like to go, I would say a good phrase that I heard once is go viral through product quality. Just be better at what you do. Be more as Seth Godin says, he says, be more
Be
remarkable,
remarkable.
which means people will remark about you.
Right. It's not amazing. Remarkable in his construct is people will talk about you like we're doing here with Jonathan Rosen and Collaborates. And
Right.
we will do, by the way, by promoting. So I guess to that end, that's a really awkward transition. But as we kind of wrap up and how people want to talk to you some more and find out more about this kind of grassroots relationship platform, how do people get in touch with you?
So they can email me. My email is Jonathan, spelled Jonathan, because there are 1,000 ways to spell it, at Collaborex, COLLABEREX.com. And there you can there's you can my phone number's there. You can call me. I love to set up individual Zoom meetings to find out what their needs are and whether what we do is something that can provide value and solve their problems. The other thing that we do is we give everyone who is interested a free 30-day membership. So they can sign up on our website. It's a free trial. They sign up, they put their name in, they come to a meeting. Their membership starts at the date of their first meeting. During that membership, they can go to all 10 groups twice a month. So that's 20 meetings. They can go to our 5 affinity groups, which are other groups of people with common interests or commonalities. They can come to our open networking, our workshops. It's a lot of stuff. We have a whole calendar of events and schedule of meetings. They can do all of it. And the purpose of the free 30-day membership is so they have enough information so they can decide whether it's of value to them.
And just to follow up, everybody just heard how you suggest to get in touch with you. I'll also put all the links in the description beneath. So just want to say thank you for coming on the show today, Jonathan, and talking about your experiences, Collaborex. And I think that this is really the only bona fide path to move forward is connectivity through relationship. And clearly it's something you're passionate about. So thank you for sharing your ideology with us.
Thank you so much, Ethan. I'm going to pick you. You're going to be on my kickball team.
Fair enough. Okay. Although I'm starting to get into softball again. I found a really nice, 55 and over group that I should be the stud. So
okay,
it's good. Not pickleball yet. Can't do that.
No.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you so much, Ethan. Bye-bye.